don't know when. Ah! Oh, good. It's
There was a
rubber
rubber
banding.
What just
band.
happened?
It was rubber banding. Ah, these
Hello
are really
everybody
cool.
and welcome
electric-
to the Netherblock, the show where we
Aren't those
build
nice?
a block of netherrack in Minecraft that is 64 by 64 by 64 blocks in dimension.
Why that big, Albert?
Because that's like a full stack. We actually haven't talked about this, but that is why, if people are interested.
Yeah, it was sort of an accidental
Today's
thing.
episode is brought to you by our featured patron, Ryan Amsler. Thank you, Ryan, for being a patron.
Hello, Ryan.
Bastard whore.
Oh, they definitely didn't fix the
well,
spawns.
now
in
we
the...
don't normally say that about our patrons, Joe. We're very thankful for them, and
I hate
Do
you.
we need to kill more chickens or something?
be
What's
nice
happening?
to Ryan, Joe.
If you want to be a bastard whore, you can go to patreon.com/humanechoes.
My name is Albert, by the way.
This
I'm
is
Tony.
neat, and it gives off smoke. Oh my god. How can this still be happening?
That's Joe
Rubber
who's
band?
talking to you right now.
That's because
I'm Komette.
the torches are only putting off a 1 by 1 of light.
The deep voice
mean-
person is Tony.
I already
I
said
get
my
that,
name.
but how could, like, they let this... It'd be like if Mario put out a patch where it's like, by the way, air kills you. We're not gonna deal with it for weeks, though.
Yeah, and
I
if they
can't
started
remember. I'm sure Mario, the last Mario game, has
No,
been
they
patched,
broke the
but
soap dispenser.
it was always to fix things. It was like, oh, you could get around the, like, you didn't have to activate the spaceship in the first, or no, you didn't have to beat the first
God.
boss. There was a
really?
skip where you didn't have to do that thing where the, oh, I know what it was. You didn't have to do that thing where you drop the log across the river, because that was an animation, and people who are speedrunning don't like to wait for the animation to play, so they figured out a way not to have to deal with that.
Who thinks we should sleep so we can just get past this whole night murder cycle?
I'm in the Nether,
I'm
so
in the Nether.
Oh, I thought you were gonna talk about getting past Al's story. Yeah, no.
Oh,
Lord.
no. There are also monsters nearby, so we can't sleep.
Oh my god. It's making me sick.
What's making you sick?
It's like rubber banding or something happening.
Yeah, it's pretty
on my
rough.
end.
oh, I
Do we
forgot. I
need
have
to
like
kill
a whole
more
chest
chickens or
full of.
something?
I have a chest full of Nether. This is not cheating. It's just been in my inventory at the end of previous episodes, so I'm gonna go grab that. If nobody's sleeping right now.
All right.
Cheater.
You can sleep now. So I ended up going to a cryo chamber this week.
I saw that.
That was-
I saw that tweet and it was very baffling to me. Is the sleeping done with, by the way?
Yes, the
Yes.
sleeping is done with.
Okay, cool.
What was baffling about it?
Well, I mean, I don't know how cold it is safe to get your body. It seems like there's frostbite and stuff that might not be advantageous to anything, and you're doing it on purpose. I assume you're not being, like, just stupid.
No, like
But I
it's,
didn't
it's
understand
very,
why
very
you were doing
regulated. It's
I'm
a
using that.
What
negative
is
200,
happening?
negative 230 degrees, so it was
Yeah,
pretty
see, that's
frosty.
in the... I actually even looked this up, and I still didn't understand why you were doing it.
It's a way of getting your body to like add cold shock proteins, like which are supposed to be good for inflammation. I was in a really bad like swing with my back where it was like I'm dying, and I quit hitting
Bad
me.
flare
Thanks
up.
for that,
Yeah.
Joe.
Bad
Always
flare-up.
supportive.
And this place near me was like, "Hey, we're having a special on cryo chamber stuff," and I decided I was going to try it because I've always been curious about it. And so I had this little old lady, probably about 70 years old, who had the worst hunchback I've ever seen. It's like what we're all being about like 4 years. And she couldn't open the machine very well because she was too weak. And she was putting these pads in to make my head be above the liquid nitrogen, because if you breathe liquid nitrogen while you're in there, you will just pass out into the cold.
Yeah, that sounds horrifying.
And
It's really interesting, though.
and we got this set up, and I just decided I'm gonna do this. I don't care if I die here, I die here. And like it turned out okay. I just sat there at negative
You're not
230
dead?
degrees
Did you
for
die?
3 minutes.
Well,
That's
and
the
tell
twist.
them
He's been dead
what
this whole
happened
time.
afterwards.
Well, like what was interesting about it? Wow, that is some rubber banding.
Hello, horse.
I did have like I got out of there and I didn't feel an immediate effect. I was like, that's disappointing. That's like $20 gone. And like I went home and about 20 minutes later, like everything stopped hurting, and so I decided to go for a run. And then I ran off of a curb, and my foot planted and my knee went sideways. And so it's like,
Why?
Oh shit.
I don't know. I don't know if I tore something or
not. People are being rude on the block, I think.
People just put that there. I think they were trying to stop mobs from coming up here.
Oh. Okay. I'm sorry I interrupted your story.
Please
There was just a
don't.
No, it's
fence
okay.
in front of the entrance, and I was like, what is going on? There was also a missing stair, which I'm guessing was the same, thought there.
Yeah. No, the missing stair was from a creeper a few minutes ago.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, whenever I was in there, like I was getting ready to go in, I'm basically in boxers, gloves, and wool socks, and this little tiny old lady's like, "Be sure to keep your head up," and she kept saying it as like she wasn't strong enough to put the next thing up there to make it taller, so I'm having to be like on my tiptoes in a cryo chamber that could kill me if I drop, while little bits of like liquid nitrogen touch me and you could feel the burn from them. It was quite the experience.
What was
Yeah,
actually
what part of your body actually got down
Yes.
to negative 200 degrees?
Neck down.
All of it, but neck. Yeah.
what was
There's
touching
no
you?
way. For how long?
3 minutes.
3 minutes. Oh, sorry. I guess you should check.
How did
Like,
that?
I asked.
That sounds awful. How did it feel?
I use the cold training stuff I do, like the breathing techniques and everything, and it wasn't that bad. Like there were moments where I was like, "This is gonna be a rough 30 seconds," but that was
Okay,
about it.
you obviously were not in liquid nitrogen, right?
No, I was not in liquid nitrogen. That would kill
the,
you.
Yes, explain the mechanics of the thing because
Like
like
walking into a refrigerator that goes up to
so
your neck.
You
it can
walk
look
into
like
a
anybody.
chamber- Yeah.
what?
Yeah, like if the blood, if it touches hot stuff, it freaks out,
Yeah, the blood is trying to protect itself.
right? I forget all the other rules of the. I don't know how that's relevant to Tony's story though.
Yeah, that's hilarious. It can mimic whatever it eats and whatever.
Yes.
Does it have to eat it, or can it just like
It
mimic
kinda
it if it
merges
feels
with
like it?
It kind of merges from what we saw of the thing a few weeks ago.
Explain
Yeah,
the
like-
cryogenic device or whatever.
It's basically like a tube that you climb into that locks from the outside and makes a bunch of bank vault noises as like the little old lady is like, "Oh, you'll have fun," and then like you just feel this gas come over and you're completely immersed, like you just got dunked in with a bunch of dry ice, and you just feel like the cold overtaking like every inch of you, and you're watching all your vitals change. Like you have to clip something to your ear because you can't have something on your finger because your appendages would get frostbite much faster than your core. And
If your arms and legs
gotta
are out of
do-
it?
No, your arms and legs are in it, but you have gloves and socks on to protect your toes and fingers. It does not
And so
help
is
that
it-
much. My toes and fingers still got real cold.
How about your head and shoulders and your knees?
My knees were probably the coldest part because like that was just down, like where everything settled because liquid nitrogen tends to float downward.
Okay, but is liquid nitrogen like
It's
in
like
a
a-
sack and then you're in air?
It's not a sack. You're just like you're having this sprayed all around you, like
Ah,
in like down the sides of it, so it just makes that chamber you're in negative 230 degrees.
Right. Does it like close off at your neck?
It doesn't close off at your neck. You're just like you're just watching it float up near you. It's like an open chamber, and whenever the 3 minutes is open, like she hits this giant lever, and it just opens up, and you feel like you're coming out of a sci-fi movie thing. Because just all the cold air and nitrogen,
fly.
yeah, all the fog just goes away from you.
Does it hurt your wiener?
It did not. Like I was wearing
Did they
boxers.
give you like a cod piece?
No, they did not. I was worried about that. I was like, is there going to be like something? But no.
Because they got your fingers
fine.
covered. They're
Yeah.
like,
Just
no,
grab
you
a wool
definitely
sock
don't want
for
your
your
toes
dong."
and stuff to be hurt, but everything else down there is fine.
you know what's so funny is that when I was talking to Tony about that, like that didn't even remotely cross my mind.
Honestly, it
Because I
didn't.
That's
don't
'cause you
get
don't
Until
have
my
Joe
own
pain
said
thing.
it, it did
appendage.
not cross my
Yeah.
mind either. Here's what I was stuck on. I've looked up the things where you float.
Yeah, the
It
isolation
movie.
tanks.
Oh yeah, that too. I've looked
The
those
sewers?
up, and they were like $80 for an hour. And Tony just said he paid $20 for liquid nitrogen immersion,
Yes.
which seems like it would be more expensive.
Well,
Now, I
this,
realize the
Well,
time
they-
frame was lower.
I feel like this
still-
gym is failing, and they were like, "We bought this in an effort to try to get people in," and they're like, "Usually
So
this
you didn't
costs."
go to you didn't go to a doctor or anything for this.
No, like I said, I went to some 70-year-old woman that owns a gym that doesn't look like she's ever lifted in her life because she's
Well-
broken.
Yeah. You said the 70-year-old lady part several times, but I thought she was, in my mind, it was like part of a spa thing.
Yeah,
No, like-
I thought she like volunteered there because she used the cryogenic thing or.
No, she
Take it
like
back.
she was the
She's
owner
actually
of
a
the gym.
90-year-old woman.
Yes, but she looks 70. Not a day
Yes.
over 70. Her hump is 50.
Yeah. It's all about those humps.
It's evocative.
Yes.
You got further in that joke than I was just gonna say lovely lady humps, but you went further into the...
No,
I really appreciate that joke.
Oh, believe me, that was the reference.
No, but I'm saying he went further because it was a reference to a thing that referenced it, so it's funnier. If I had just said the name of the song, like
Yes, let's just
nobody
keep
would have laughed.
explaining the joke, Al.
I will! See, because the movie Blades of Glory
Blades of
with
Glory.
John Heater and Will Ferrell, like they referenced that song, My Lovely Lady Humps. And it's in the trailer. It's one of the funniest bits of the movie where he just says, they ask like what it means, and he says it gets the people going. Because provocative, and that's the line that Joe said.
Provocative.
I saw that movie, but I probably blocked that part out.
Really? Now I'm actually. Are you being serious with me right now? Because I explained the joke that you told me like in jest to explain, and now I'm actually not buying the fact that you don't remember the part where he doesn't know what that means.
Hey guys, here's a pit full of pigmen.
Anybody got an arrow?
Actually, I think this is Komette. By the way, Komette, you didn't mention that you were just... I thought you were just trying to get back to your gear and running.
No.
You were setting, like, elaborate pit traps for the pigmen and trying to lure them in and running around in circles and stuff.
She mentioned that at the time.
I
didn't hear
was
that.
trying to get them in the pit so I could actually get Nether to actually do something that episode.
They weren't going to stop coming. When you got, like, 20 in there, murdered them all, screamed, like,
And then-
who else wants blood on our, like, who else, something bizarre. And then turned out
Yeah,
like 20
and
more
then
came
they-
after you.
Kommette's
Yeah,
worked a
they
lot of
fell from the
jobs, but like
ceiling.
the slaughterhouse was the most informative for that particular
Yes.
moment.
It was.
Like, who else wants blood?
Is that a true story?
I was
Come
ready.
Work in the slaughterhouse?
Oh yeah.
No. No, he's lying.
Where did your dog get his name?
The reason I say that is because like there's so many times where Komette's like, oh yeah, I was working at Whole Foods, and then she's like, oh, I was working at this place, and I was working at this place, and I'm like, how many places has she worked? Then again,
I've worked a lot of jobs.
I've worked like 14 jobs before I had this one, I think, if I'm remembering correctly.
It's like an old children's.
Yeah.
They're doing jump rope. How many jobs does Komette have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Probably the oddest one was
working girl, what
Dyke
can I
Man
say?
Trophies.
Dyke Man trophies.
Yes.
For the Dyke Man. Yeah, wait, what? Is that just the guy's name?
Yeah, his name was Mr. Dykeman.
Oh. Did we ever send a trophy to the winner of the arena tournament?
We sent a butter thing.
Yes, a butter churner, that's right.
Yeah, that was the trophy for winning the Writers Arena tournament because someone decided the last thing would be about butter.
You know what? I had to make a review and edit a lot of stories. I was feeling antsy and like I wanted to do a real challenge. It was gonna be like love or something.
Komette hadn't really heard much about the Writers Arena. She was talking about how that would be hell earlier.
Yes.
It would be pure torture for me. Like, if you ever want to just make me cry and so sad, make me like required to write something.
Yeah, and do you
doesn't-
know how that worked? Like, do you know the setup for it?
Sounds like
No.
Tony.
Like,
What?
you basically had 10 days to write a story off of a prompt that we gave you against somebody else, and then you got judged directly and harshly by the readers.
Oh my god, yes. No, thank you. No,
Was
thank
it
you.
harsh?
We did it for like
Readers
a
were-
year and a half too.
We did it for so long. I don't know how we
We
managed
did
that.
it for longer than a year. Oh, we did it for at least 2 years, because I had 24 stories from that. No, I guess it could have been shorter because I filled in a few times.
It's insanity.
If you want to buy the book containing all the stories, you can go to
Not all of
Amazon.
them.
The first
The
10. Might as well put
the
all
first
of them
10
in there.
battles. Yeah.
Oh.
We've got like 60
Minus-
battles or something like that. It's crazy.
It's just nuts.
It was so much work. Like,
Once the pace started,
those
we
were some of
couldn't-
the
it was like, we can't stop this pace.
That was some of the most grindy things I've ever done. It probably made my writing better than anything else I've ever
Yes.
done. But damn, that was tough.
Yeah,
at
until we
times.
stopped and like haven't written anything. Well, I haven't written anything for a while.
No, that's part of it too, Al. The best way to get better at writing is to write a lot, but then also stop and play video games for 4 years. Is how the saying goes. I think it was Victor Hugo?
I thought it was
Someone
Nietzsche.
said
The sharpest knife
Yeah.
is the one you've sharpened for a really long time and then left to rust in the drawer for 10 years.
Yeah.
I think they
Like,
call
you
that
learned
the,
a complete
It'll
other
cut you
skill set.
and give you tetanus.
yeah, I was gonna say that's the tetanus knife, not the sharpest knife.
Who's in the overworld?
I am in the overworld.
Nether.
I am
If you
not in
want
the
to sleep, I
overworld.
can find a bed.
Yeah, I need to. Let's sleep.
Is it dark already? I came up when I just came down there. It was light still.
It's dark now.
It's dark now.
I broke
I'm
some
in a
blocks
bed.
on the Nether because they weren't, like, the lighting was broken on them, for me anyway. So I wasn't trying to, like, remove anybody's work, but sometimes when you break the block, it, like, resets how the lighting is.
Why did I was bouncing in and out of your stream this morning, Albert, and I came back and the chat said that you were giving birth to Kermit the Frog's son or something? I didn't understand
Just
what the comment...
people like, so people just come in and, like, be trolly. And I prefer not to fight them if they're not being jerks, so...
I just didn't understand remotely...
Oh, somebody I just said Kermit the Frog is giving birth to your son now, and I was like, yeah, well...
Is
went
that
through...
a troll? Like, I don't understand how that's anything.
I don't know. I mean, frogs are big in the sort of 4chan-y type world right now with Pepe.
Yeah.
Oh, you think it was a...
I mean, not like directly. I'm not saying that, but you know, so Jordan Peterson, people make jokes about him sounding like Kermit. If you listen to Jonathan Peugeot and buy into his thing, it's sort of the idea that the collective unconsciousness is interested in frogs because of their state as a
you think this
like
was
a
an act
transitional?
like that introspective of a...
Oh,
commenter?
no, I'm not saying, like, the idea here isn't that any individual person is that introspective, it's just that, like, collectively, that's in the subconscious of people, so that's why they picked a frog.
So frogs are big now, is what you're saying?
Yeah, that's so that there's a transitional, like, it does not belong to either the land or the water, it's both. Similar to how rabbits are seen as a transitional thing, too, above ground and below ground, and... Anyway, so he was making jokes about Kermit the Frog. I have no idea if it... Oh, I'm sorry. Did I hit you? Oh, cool. Okay. There was a pig man. I was right. I got him. So he was making jokes about Kermit giving birth to my son, and I've, like, rolled with that. There was a guy in there role-playing as Anakin Skywalker.
That I saw, too, yeah. That was less interesting to me.
It wasn't that interesting. I yelled at him for making the joke badly.
What did he do?
He just said... He came in there, and then he was like, you know what I hate? And then, like, immediately after that said, sand. And I was like, dude, you gotta, like, give that just a couple seconds of hang time. You can't set the joke up as, what's black and white and red all over a newspaper? Like, that's not how people tell jokes.
It's how 4-year-olds tell jokes.
Yeah, that's definitely a child thing.
What if it was the actual Anakin Skywalker? Wouldn't that have been funny?
Well, I rolled with him
and
like
you were telling
it
him
was.
how to be the...
Because I was asking him to
like
subscribe
sand?
to the channel, and I was like...
We know he's rising, so...
That's the Skywalker that's
It's
coming
crumbling.
back.
Someone is...
Hayden Christensen.
Yeah, the Skywalker's got all yeasty on us.
But no, I told him, I was like, I know you have
one's
spend a
ever
lot of
really
time
gone.
with your Jedi training, but if you have any extra, you know, downtime and you can get away from Master Kenobi, you should check out our channel. And like, I'm fine to interact with those people if they're not being jerks. Because I mean, what else am I doing? Like, what am I gonna do? Be like,
pushing a
no, your
tugboat
thing that you're
upriver
doing
with
is
a truck."
stupid. Watch me play this video game.
Yes, the Kermit the Frog thing just seemed way out of left
No,
field.
he was definitely going for shock value. Probably isn't the right word because he didn't come in there like yelling slurs and stuff. But it didn't. I was happy to roll with it.
As far as YouTube goes, that's pretty mild.
Yes, I
Well,
guess
yeah,
there's
well,
probably an
last week we
auto
covered-
censor for some of the worst things people could say. I hope anyway.
We test that out. Next stream.
Go ahead and type the worst
Friday mornings.
insult you can think of into the comments. See what happens.
We already covered the... Did you get any more bad comments, Tony? I just said a Netherblock and I just went over the...
I don't think I've been called a cuck too many times this week.
Yes, you had... It was just a string of...
I guess YouTube lets you do that one.
Yeah.
What's a cuck?
Oh,
A cuck is a man who's being cheated on.
Oh, a cuck is many, many things in modern parlance. A cuckold is a man who wants you to sleep with his wife so he can watch because he's less of a man than the person f***ing his wife.
That's not necessarily, like, that can be an aspect of it, but it's just, it's like, being cuckold is literally just, you got cheated on. Like, you
I
were...
think it's changed.
It's
As Tony said, in
expanded.
modern parlance...
Yeah, it's like decimate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does, but it's not. It's still a
But it
10.
is.
It's
I
probably
believe
used
I
to
don't care what
sexual?
Marvel says.
It's a
They
sexual
killed half the
fetish
people.
now.
You can't call it the decimation.
They can and they will.
I need to get more iron to make more pickaxes, but
There's a bunch of iron in my in my box at the trailer.
Oh, thank you.
Is there?
Yeah. Lots of blocks of iron. You have to break them down.
I was gonna say I was like low key afraid of going into the mines because all of the
They're all hate holes right now.
Loki's not afraid of anything.
because all of the
I don't know. Loki actually
why
does
my
get kind of
brain
freaked
not
out
working?
regularly.
No, I just had to riff on that.
where is it inside the trailer?
Yeah, inside the trailer there's a box, and look for silver cubes. Put one of those cubes in there, and that'll give you 9 ingots.
Would
What
it
is
be a
Loki's
spoiler to
story?
mention that little twist in American Gods? Books like spend so much, like people spend so much time reading them, and they can read them over so much time that it feels like spoiler warnings work differently when they're not like the biggest cultural touchstone.
I don't know. If someone wants to read American Gods, don't listen right now.
It was just a cool. I didn't catch it. There's you probably would catch it if you're listening to the audiobook, but there's a character named Low-Key Lysmith, who's in prison with the main character, and he turns out to be Loki. And it's like, but when you read it on the page, you don't make the connection with the sounds.
Yeah, I listened to that book the first time, like whenever I went through it, so I definitely was like, oh, it's Loki.
It's like how in New Vegas the town is called Novak because they're referencing.
But because they don't believe in
Novak.
vaccinations.
Yes.
Tony, I don't see it.
All right, I'll be down in just a second.
Just use rock. They've broken me to that. It's just as good.
Do I just use cobblestone?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just 3 cobbles.
Oh yeah, because there's a bunch more kinds of rock now. Has anybody in this group encountered any of that? Like the
No.
extra smooth stone versus stone?
What do? You bake smooth stone now?
You have to have a special kind of like furnace, right? You have to make extra brick, smooth brick or whatever, and
am I
then
so
make
dumb?
that into a furnace.
What was that?
Ding! This is scary.
This is ugly.
I almost knocked over my water bottle.
I hope I hit water. Holy crap, that's a big jump. Okay.
You okay, Tony?
Yeah, it was just like I was putting stuff on the top of the cobblestone block, and I put myself in a corner where I had no other choice but to jump off into the ocean.
The cobblestone block? We can't start that
Yeah.
yet.
I say if we ever do another block series, which is kind of unlikely, that we do a glass block that's filled with sand just for the cascade effects.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Blast furnace.
Well, there's also new kinds of blocks now, so maybe we should like open our minds.
Yeah, man.
We also need to like redo
Do a bunch
like
of
a lot of server
psilocybin.
stuff. Yeah, which Denver decriminalized this week.
Really?
Yeah, I saw some
Yeah.
congressman tweeting about that. How dare you? How dare you?
Yeah, how dare us like use our states' rights?
States' rights.
But yeah, like how we whenever I looked at it the night before, every newspaper was like, "Oh, this failed by a small margin. Like they might try it again next year." And then they counted all the mail-in ballots because lots of people here actually used the mail-in ballots, and it ended up winning by like 2%. They called that way too early,
Yeah, buddy.
especially because this was not a very important election, so there wasn't a lot of there wasn't a lot going on other than this one, so they kind of snuck it in. So now, if you're in
thinking
Denver, you
Smoothstone.
can have.
Oh, so like if there had been like a big political thing on the ballot, you think it would have been more likely not to pass because
Yeah, if
what,
it was
more
like a
conservatives would have voted?
Yeah, if it was a midterm election or like something along those lines, I think that there would have been a higher voter turnout on like just general people, and I think a lot of people aren't really willing to do the whole like, well, we're just gonna make mushrooms legal. Like, I think that's not something a lot of people are thinking or wanting, despite it being something that I think should be a thing.
It's interesting when it's a plant-based substance too.
Yeah, it's like it's everywhere.
Like it grows. If it grows, it knows. And that's the kind of thing that somebody on
Wow.
mushrooms would find profound.
Words of Al.
Yeah, you know what else grows naturally, Al? Anthrax.
Yes.
That is true.
I'm making a blast
So
furnace.
are you pro weed, Al?
I don't really have an opinion. I've never done it. I'm not going to probably do it. It seems
not
like
going to
I
probably do
lean
it.
libertarian, so like I'm not necessarily pro banning of weed,
Interesting.
but I'm not
Not really.
like I'm not gonna go out and campaign in the streets for it either. It doesn't affect me much one way or the other.
Let
as
people
far as
do
I can
their
tell.
life, y'all.
What?
That's all.
I didn't hear what you said.
Let people live their life, yo.
Yeah.
Y'all, I think it was. Is it yo or y'all?
I think I said y'all. She
I
said
don't know.
y'all, but
However, I think if, like, 10 years from now, AJ was caught with weed, Al would have a very, like, angered opinion of that. I feel like that would be something that would be a little bit different.
so 10 years from now he'd be 16. That'd be pretty early for him. I don't think I'd want him doing that at that age.
I feel like, yeah, catching your kid smoking weed is not very good, especially at that age, but it's way better than drinking, in my own opinion.
Yeah, as far as, like, the long-term effects, like, drinking is a much worse, like, much worse for you and a much worse thing for society in general. Although I do love drinking, it's just one of those
There's
easier,
a creeper.
one of those easy things to really screw up.
I understand how I got. I made a blast furnace.
Yay!
Yeah, I don't. Yay! And now I'm reading about it, and I don't understand the difference. Blast furnaces are similar to furnaces, but are used to smelt ore blocks in particular.
Yeah, they
one that
smelt ore
smelt it, dealt
faster.
it.
So you can't do like chicken and stuff in it?
Okay, but
No, you cannot cook
Okay.
food in those.
so I made a lesser furnace.
You made a faster furnace for a
Fast.
faster. You made a faster.
Can't drink now, Tony.
I was drinking
wonder
on the
if
job
they're, like-
yesterday.
There's
Only
got to
a
be
little.
videos on YouTube of people doing magic mushrooms and playing Minecraft, right?
I guarantee it. Like, there's so many
Oh,
people
that
that.
just
Imagine
sounds like too much.
popular. Yes. It just seems like a
Like-
match.
Yeah, like there's also like they used to have a thing where people do salvia all the time and just like YouTube it. That was a
What
huge
is
trend for a
salvia
while.
again?
Salvia is a form.
Salvia's like
Salvia is a
like
form
a
of sage.
hallucinogenic.
Sage?
It's fucked up.
Like the spice?
Yeah, like it's a type of sage. It's Salvia divinorum, and whenever you
And
smoke
it only
it,
lasts.
you go
go
ahead.
ahead.
You go ahead. What
No,
the
like
hell
it
was
only
that?
lasts. I heard that.
It only
It only
lasts.
lasts like a few minutes, but it's like hyper intense and it's very hallucinogenic.
It's similar to DMT.
And
It's daytime
Yeah.
again, by the way. I slept.
the f is that noise?
It's very similar to DMT. Like it's something where you smoke it and within 5 minutes it wears off, but you go very, very deep for those 5 minutes.
Oof,
I watched.
it sounds terrifying.
I watched Komette's brother think that his bed turned into mashed potatoes, and he started crying.
Are you talking about Barrick?
Yes.
I was
I
like, I
don't
don't think I
understand the
can see ever
value. Do
doing
people
that.
enjoy thinking that their bed is mashed potatoes? Because
It's
I
a
don't.
deep spiritual movement, Albert. Man,
No, like
you
the
never
thing
found
is,
your
like-
bed to be mashed potatoes?
Whenever you break your consciousness away from like what we consider to be reality, it's very fun sometimes, or very disturbing if you're not prepared for it. So like, it really depends on the person.
I mean, the simplest example is like kids spinning around in circles so they get dizzy. Is basically like a very mild example of why people
I used to
do these things
hyperventilate
often.
on purpose. Anybody else ever do that?
If you hyperventilate the proper way, you can
like you
cause slight
getting-
hallucinations. It's a pretty powerful
I was
thing.
gonna say. One time my boyfriend told me a story about the first time he did salvia, and his sister tricked him. He thought it was weed, and he's like 13
Oh, that's
at
so
the time.
messed up.
Jesus
It's
Christ.
That's so messed up.
Yeah, so he like smokes it, and she's like, "No, do more, like do some more." And you're not supposed to do like a lot of salvia. You do like one hit and whatnot. And like within a couple of minutes, he was like, "What the fuck is happening?" And his sister's like laughing really hard, and he's like, thought that there was some sort of fish that was close to him and looking at him wrong. Like it was like, it sounds terrifying. Of course, I can't remember.
Which boy is this current boyfriend?
Yeah, this is Scott. I'm like, oh my lord, that just sounds
It's
absolutely terrifying.
sounds like what is known as a dick move.
Yeah, that is a very dick
much
move.
so.
One of my friends was talking about how it felt like he was gone for like 2 years, and he started a family and had a whole new friend group and all this, and then just woke up and it was like 5 minutes later.
I saw that
So-
Rick and Morty episode.
Yeah, sounds like either like BoJack Horseman or Rick and Morty or
Oh, did they do that in
That's
BoJack?
just-
I don't remember. Is there a Rick and Morty where they do that?
Well, yeah, but it's like they don't do drugs.
That's a
They-
video game.
Like it's
That's a video game. Yeah.
You like jack your brain into the video game and
Oh, right.
You never go back to the carpet store, Morty.
You beat cancer and you went back to the carpet store.
But yeah, like whenever I did it, like I don't think I went quite
Went back
deep
to the
enough.
carpet store.
Yeah, I didn't go back to the carpet store. Like I forgot how to swallow, so I was drooling a little bit, and like I was like, watch this, and I threw a hat, and the hat made a perfect trail. The hat made a perfect trail through the sky, and it stayed there for like 3 minutes, like just a perfect spiral of where the hat went.
With people watching you, you just threw a hat.
Yeah, and that's,
Yeah.
that's the funny thing. Everybody's an idiot. Like, you just kind of embrace it. It's a vulnerable thing. You gotta be okay with being an idiot in front of your friends.
Oh my god.
There's a couple funny YouTube videos of it.
One of the funny ones I saw is a guy was tripping out hard, and then a cat just landed on his hood while he was parked, and he lost his mind.
It's so funny because that guy's like series is like doing stuff on salvia, and it's like driving on salvia, and everybody's like, no, like don't do that. Why would you even? And then what happens is that he like smokes it, and then he like forgets what he's doing, and so he just sits there, and then out of nowhere, like a cat jumps on the hood, and he's like, it's like freaks the fuck out. It's really funny.
It used to be able to buy it from head shops. Like, it used to be completely illegal, like, because it literally is just a type of sage.
What is it? Oh, that type of sage, right?
Yeah.
Well, what's wrong with me just going to the grocery store and buying sage?
If you smoked it, it might not have the same effect because it's a slightly different sage plant.
It's a different strain.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
and like a lot of people in the military do it because you can't like drug test it.
Yeah, but a lot of new drugs don't have tests for them just because they haven't done the studies to like figure out what metabolites and what other things are in your system from doing it. I didn't like salvia that much because it made me feel really weird for the rest of the day, like, and not in a good way. Yeah,
I don't know why I find that hilarious.
It was funny to me
plenty
too.
Of stupid shit in my life, but for some reason the idea of Tony drooling and then being like, "What's this, guys?" Throwing a hat just tickles me.
I don't know if I told Komette this, but we actually got her sister-in-law, who's very, very straight edge, to do it.
What?
Yeah.
You got Julie to do it?
She was trying to impress
fun stuff with Komette's in-laws, like the Marvel releases.
Yeah, like we got her to do it because she was trying to impress Zephyr. Like, it was before they were dating.
And that's how Komette's dog got his name.
Yeah. Good old Marv from Sin City.
Marv is still alive, by the way.
He is. He's an awesome dog. He's a great dog, actually.
So
like, one of the
I
best
love
ones.
him.
Kind of dog?
Confirmed. He's a
He is.
Goldbarian.
Oh my god, he's. What? Stop. No. He is a golden retriever husky mix.
Yeah, the
So
AKC
he's
called that a Goldbarian.
So what's beautiful about him though is like imagine a husky, and everywhere that is like white on the husky, it's like that golden retriever color. So that really pretty yellow. Oh, he's so beautiful. I'll put a picture of him in awe.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a gorgeous dog, and I remember that your mom taught him how to use a bell to let people know when he wanted to go outside, and that didn't last very long. Because that dog always wanted to he would just go up to the bell and start dancing and hit it with his nose and get all excited and be like, why is the door not opening?
because it wasn't just to make, it was to play.
Well, he wanted outside.
He was an outside dog.
Yeah, he just always wanted to be out.
We had a
people were
gross.
Yeah, Huskies apparently
We had
are
a
like
junkyard.
the high energy dog. Yeah,
Backyard.
Okay.
So.
I think that was a rubber band.
that was
a rubber band.
The creepers I'm trying to get rid of right now just like froze in their tracks, and I couldn't figure out why.
Have you fought a skeleton with this insanity?
No,
Like the
not
arrows
yet.
like
You've told me
slowly
about
move
it.
towards you and then go backwards and then come forwards and
Matrix.
Get killed already!
Oh, snap. I'm level
Rubber
30.
banding,
I need to enchant something.
Donnell. Wow, really?
Yeah.
How'd you get to level 30?
I don't know.
Go,
Probably
go,
from
go.
slaying
Don't jinx it.
pigmen. Yeah. Probably
I
from
hate
slaying pigmen.
a cover on the door. I don't know why there's a cover. The Nether block.
Oh, that. Yeah.
We've talked about this like the last 4 times.
Yes,
now.
because you-
It's
you hate
stupid,
it.
all of them. For every one of those times, it's been a stupid idea.
And that's why there's a cover on the Netherblock.
Sometimes we do things for drama, like start pigman wars.
I will.
What's that we?
break it.
No, we there.
That was a very
Nope.
wee situation.
No, it was not.
I was like, wee.
I have the tape. Oh, yes, fair enough. You can see you aiming your bow, being like, which one should I aim at? Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. And then running away. That was the best part. You didn't even watch. You're like, this will be on camera. I'm out of here.
Yeah, I knew what was going to happen. Like, cool guys don't look at explosions.
I mean, the freaking footage of that. The amount of pigmen that were chasing after people and then also being frozen in time for, like, long stretches. That was a real trippy. That was some sage smoking Netherblock.
Yes.
Oh, great. Who got blown up on the Nether?
On the Nether? Oh, no,
it
the
might
arena.
be
Whoa,
somebody
here we go again.
who encountered some creatures that wouldn't have spawned if there wasn't a roof on the Nether. But we can't say
Why'd
who
you
that
break
is
it
for
all?
sure.
We can rule Al out, I guess. That's not him. That's Al. Is it you?
What?
Was it you?
Yes, it was me. You caught
Don't
me,
worry,
Joe.
I'll fix it for you.
Unraveled. I did.
That was
I was
lag.
out of stacks of Nether. I put all
You
of my
didn't
Nether
fix
rack
it.
down. The many stacks that I had, I put them down.
Don't worry, I'll fix it for you.
You're gonna fix the roof? Thank you.
Yay!
Ooh, that's
Nope.
not too bad. I
Roof
got
stays.
Unbreaking 3, Sharpness 3 for my sword. For a sword. I'm surprised I actually got that. That's very rare.
Yes, usually that's when you die. At 29. Hello. So,
Especially with all this rubber banding.
I was gonna say something about new games. We have sort of new games we've been playing.
Have we been
do?
trying to arc?
Yeah,
Sure.
Tony, I've been tinkering at Ark. Komette and I are doing Astroneer, although Komette is dug way deeper because it's her Joe.
Literally?
She teaches
I
Joe.
got really frustrated at my last stream, and I low key don't want to play it right now.
Al and I are doing Factorio. Some new stuff in the air.
Ooh, I'm glitching out. Man.
Oh.
I'm glitching out,
Get up
man.
there. Get in there.
Break the piston.
Oh, that area. No, yeah. Teleporting
man.
back into the arena is a weird situation.
It's broken.
Ow!
Whoa, if you break... That's interesting. You get sticks now if you break leaves.
Huh.
I don't know how I'm going to fix this. I'm just going to dig down and break
Digging
everything.
down for
There
a
we
long
go.
period of time. Yum, 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 yum.
I still,
there's
phased
that-
through. That was weird.
Young.
There's that tone Komette's talking about. Is it nighttime?
No, it's daytime.
No,
It just plays sometimes.
isn't that weird?
I've never
I
heard
feel
that
like it's
before
when
in my
you're
life.
getting close to something.
I also
Once
wonder
I've
if
you
the
been
don't
server's
eating
want
for
the
the
about to
past
magic
20
crash.
minutes.
Whoa.
Wow.
Well,
What
there's
just
the rubber
happened?
band.
Well, I heard something right before the tone happened. Before the rubber band happened.
Are you saying
It
that
reminds
somebody
me
got
of-
the time stone?
I was gonna say it reminds me of the Ted the Caver movie for some reason.
Ted the Caver. Mm-hmm. Have not heard of that one.
Do you ever do creepypasta stuff?
Occasionally.
Why am I on? What is? I don't know what. Is
I did
going
it.
on there. Ted the Caver is one of the original creepypasta stories on the internet.
And who was phone?
There was a phone in the cave?
Hey, no one knows what that is.
No, I understood. I was just trying to come up with the
I don't know
right
what it
response
is.
for it. Like, that's a
just a
4chan
bad-
thing. It was like, then who was
It's bad
phone?
creepypasta. Yeah.
Yeah. The call is
trying
coming
to
from
tell stories.
inside the house, then who was phone?
Ted the Caver is just
Actually-
about a guy who finds it's essentially built on claustrophobia, about a guy who finds a cave, and in the back of the cave there's a tiny hole with wind blowing through it, and he looks through the hole and he can tell that it opens up a little bit further back. So him and his friend go there for months and chip away at this hole until it's barely big enough to squeeze through. And there's this tiny tunnel that they're made it that it opens up into. And if you're claustrophobic, you should not read the story, and you should definitely not watch the movie. It's not an amazing movie, but they do a really good job of showing what it would be like to be on your belly
Ugh.
in an area that is essentially smaller than you are wide, inching yourself forward with nothing more than your toes pushing against the floor of the cave, breathing out so you can move a little bit further forward.
Yeah, and
That's the
every
kind of
breath
story-
it gets a little bit tighter. You might not be able to breathe in if you keep
Yeah.
pushing forward.
And how are you gonna get out?
You just go you have to, so they go in because they
Out
can
is
see
through.
that it opens up into a room beyond there.
Like a cavern.
So they
Commit,
know
you
they
wanna
can
go
get
sleep since it's getting dark?
okay.
Yeah.
And back down.
They know
Sorry,
they
go
can
ahead,
get into that room, and then the idea is once they get into the room, oh, I thought that was going to be a thing. Then they can turn around, but obviously once you turn around in a space that small, things might be different, going the other direction.
Oh my lord.
And then
what
on top of that,
happens?
there's the weird supernatural stuff that happens.
So it's basically
So
the
how
descent.
does it end?
What do you mean? How does it end?
Do they get to
How
the
does
room?
the story end? Yeah.
They
I don't want
die?
to spoil it.
That you don't want to spoil.
I'm never gonna-
You've never
yeah,
not wanted to
Jesus
spoil
Christ.
something in your entire life.
Unbelievable.
Well, it's for one thing, it's not like exactly definitive. It's not like, and then there was a monster and he said boo. It's like,
I love
a
those
horrible story.
creepypastas, yeah.
Hi, Joe.
it's a sort of H.P. Lovecraft-esque thing where they
Are we
see
sleeping?
things.
Or trying
I
to.
am.
I'm killing the zombies
I'm
that are
in
right
the
near the trailer.
Nether, so I'm not.
Okay, there's a skeleton coming after me, so I got one more kill to get, and then we'll be good. Man, I
Anyway,
hate
they hear these
spawns.
noises and things move that were like they go back to the cave and things are different, and I forget exactly like if there's a specific. It's one of those. It's good because it's not wrapped up like you would wrap up a story that you would tell. Is one of the things that made it really convincing as a creepypasta type thing.
They made a movie out of it?
Was this like a Camel
The
Cove
movie's
thing?
effective because once they start going into the caves, they start having bad dreams. So they're able to do like jump scares and stuff with the bad dreams and like the sort of psychological effect the cave is having on them without showing like, and then there was a monster and he said boo. But there are monsters that say, boo in their dreams.
What? Fuck you, everyone.
I feel like I want to watch this movie. What is it called?
It's called Ted the Caver, I think.
Why do you say it like that? Oh, okay. You're questioning yourself. I thought you were being condescending.
It's a natural assumption.
Everybody always, my wife thinks that all the time too. She's like, "Why are you always so mean?" I'm like, "I'm not. What are you talking? I'm not being
Your voice
mean.
isn't supposed to go up at the end of a sentence.
It was a question."
Every time. That time it worked. It was fine, but
Yeah, that I heard it at the end when
that's
you
what
asked
your
it
voice
as a
does.
question.
You're always like coming off as incredibly condescending. And you're really just saying something. It's very weird.
It was easier. It was easier to see it in person.
Yeah,
Way
you can see
easier
the
to
body
it in
language.
person. Yeah.
Yeah. Reading the book.
Al has a
reading,
very
and it's
clear puzzlement face.
Yes, he does.
I'm
60%
very puzzled
of,
a lot.
of what you convey while speaking is through body language. And I'm like, our company's so fucked. I don't know how we made it this long.
Oh, that hits
What
hard.
is that noise? Ah! That's a terrible noise.
That's an Enderman that's angry at Tony. I don't know why
Tony,
he
what did you
decided
do
to attack
to it?
Enderman.
Yeah.
They get mad if you just look at them, so he might have just looked.
No, I just ran up and charged
No,
him.
I was gonna say, I feel like
Maybe he's trying to get to the end? No, we already have the end here, right?
Yeah, we've already
doing
done
it
the
again.
end. We've reset it and killed the
Have
dragon
you,
a couple
you and your
times.
son got there yet, Al?
I have not.
does anybody have stacks
I haven't
that
tried
they
in a
won't be
while. I
able to
haven't
put
worked
down
on
that
it.
Yeah, come here.
In the last week or two.
Have 4 stacks.
I've been learning to play the
Thank you.
guitar, so
Now we
I haven't
can
been
both do
doing as
4
many video
stacks.
games like on my own time.
Alright.
Although I was doing that, like
I thought that
I've
was
been
you
doing
and
that since
AJ time.
Christmas. He doesn't like want to do the work.
Are we there yet? Have you done the thing yet?
He doesn't just want to play the game. He's very lazy.
Some would
That's
say
like
he's
my
goal
spirit
oriented.
animal. Your child is my spirit animal.
I mean, he is. I don't know what you want me to say. He lies a lot too. I told him it would
That's
hurt
all-
his
that's
all-
soul, and he was like, "No, it won't." I don't know what to say to that, but yes, it will.
Destroys your
Guilt is
character.
a real thing. Tell him about guilt. Yeah.
It
I
harms
told
your
him, I was
relationships
like,
with
"It'll hurt
others.
you inside," and he's like, "No, I feel fine."
No. Yeah.
Other people can't
It will.
trust you
It
as
will
well.
affect him.
And that
Look,
was the
I
day
can't
we
trust
learned he
you.
was a sociopath.
No, I feel fine.
It's like, I'm actually invigorated by lies.
There's a whole rush that comes along with it, Daddy.
By the way,
You
remember
smoke
when,
sage.
how the dog has been getting hurt a lot mysteriously?
Oh my
Oh,
god.
that's a bad place.
No.
That's too far. I didn't want to make that joke about your kid. It's like full-on Ted Bundy.
Well, what are you gonna do? Like, wait, do you think Ted Bundy's parents are responsible for? Maybe they were, but maybe they weren't. Maybe it's
Deep
just
in my
like,
heart, I honestly think that, yes, I have to believe that, actually. Even though
Yeah?
they're always like,
That it was
there
his
was
parents'
nothing wrong
fault?
with the home life, that the parents somehow screwed them up, but that's just me. I fully admit that might not be true, but I just believe that because it comforts me.
Parents are the worst.
Basically.
I've been
wanna
trying
believe
to
that-
develop like a Zen kind of approach where
I'm
I
actually going to send your kid into a serial killer.
no, Like, I try to
develop
encourage
that
as
killer
much
instinct.
growth as possible, but also accept that my influence is not, unlimited. Sort of what is the thing for Alcoholics Anonymous?
You're powerless to change, and it's a terrible thing to tell alcoholics.
Recognize when you can accept the things you can and recognize the
Drink
difference.
more. Hold my beer. Wait,
I don't want to drink.
That's just alcoholics.
Oh, right.
I honestly
That's a
despise
different
Alcoholics
organization.
Anonymous.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of bad things about them.
It has a lot to do with religion.
They're not your personal
I
army.
hear.
Yeah.
Alcoholics aren't.
Aren't we at that time?
We are
Yeah.
super at that time. I needed to talk about how my kid's a serial killer.
But I wanted to get more stacks late, because I'm doing good this now. I'm back in the game. It's almost
You can
sunset.
That's
What?
a joke about the dog, by the way. The dog is fine. He likes to kill ants. That's a true
Let's
thing.
clarify.
Sign us out.
Thank you guys for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, you should click on that subscribe button so you can see more of these on YouTube as they become available. If you really love us and you want to help support what we do, you should go to patreon.com/humanechoes where you get these a week early. You'll get access to our cool bonus podcast where we talk a lot in between ourselves about random topics similar to what we do here, but even more off topic than what we have. And
It's a bonus.
yes. And
There it is.
I'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.